Hello everyone, my name is Advait Italia and welcome to the Daily Market Updates video. Today I want to share my insights, my learning and my view going forward. So without further ado, let's jump right on to the analysis. Let us start with the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, I wanted to highlight a critical support that is 50-day moving average going forward into the next week. So let me show you what I mean. So over here, as you can see, I have highlighted this level 14,095 and also I have written that this is the line in the sand. This is the defending line for the bulls. So in any case, if we lose the huge support of 14,095, that is the 50-day moving average on the weekly time frame, then that would be very, very bad. And that would be the start of again a bear market. But what I see over here is we are still holding the 50-day moving average. And this week is going to close. So moving forward, next week, we have to watch this level that is critically important. So now let me discuss about the daily charts. So today, the 200-day EMA got broken, but we have a lot of things to see over here. It is broken, but then in the next week, can it reclaim it? Can it, consolidate over here? So that remains still undecided. The next support zone is the S2. So let me show you about my daily analysis about what it is. So when you go to the daily time frame, you can see over here, we broke the 200-day moving average. But the problem is we today had a very important session because today was an inside day. Now, what do I mean by inside day? Whenever a stock or security cannot breach the previous day's high on the upside, or if it cannot breach the previous day's lows on the downside, then that day is called as an inside day. Now, what does it signify? It signifies that there is a lot of buying pressure. The market is currently resting. The market is currently digesting the extraordinary move. So these are all the conclusions from the inside day. But again, the scoreboard is the scoreboard. We actually did break the 200-day moving average. So that cannot be denied. So we will have to closely watch, like in the next week, if it reclaims the 200-day moving average or if it goes down. Now, if it goes down, then the support that we have over here, that is S2, that is 13,920. But mind you, the month of October is is very near to its end. So these pivot levels will get revised for the next month on the daily time frame. So we will have to watch and see. Now next week, Apple is going to report. Next week, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is going to speak. Also, he's gonna say if he is, hawkish or if he's dovish regarding the interest rates, because we today got the PCE numbers, that is the Fed's preferred inflation measure. So when all these data is coming in, we will have to see next week that these levels, if they are respected and if they are holding or not. If they doesn't hold, then the only true support on the downside is 13,920. That is the pivot level. Now, let's say Apple comes out with blowout quarter in the earnings, and let's say Jerome Powell is gonna pause, and which I highly think that he is going to pause. He's not going to raise, at least in this meeting. Then we may have a really good move on the upside. So we will watch in both scenarios what is going to happen. But these are the levels that we need to keep in mind: the 200-day daily moving average and the pivot level. So anything which is building above 200-day would be really, really bullish. So that's my analysis on the daily time frame. So now let's jump on to the intraday time frame. So today I have observed three different, important aspects. One, we rejected on the R1 pivot level. Other, the VXN holds the S2 support. And the third, lots of consolidation zones. So let me discuss each point in detail. So when you go to the intraday time frame, so we started the day with a huge gap up. So almost a 1% or 0.9% gap up. So I knew that there was a lot of selling since last 2-3 days. And when we gap up, we are actually going into the supply. So I did not trust it. I just waited for the first 30 minutes and the first, an hour to see where the market is going to go, because there were a lot of news data release as well. So I just waited, and as you can see over here, it just consolidated for at least 1.5 hours. Like over here the market did nothing, but in the hindsight it's easy to say. But as you can see over here, each and every candle was a very big candle. For example, this candle, right, is almost 46 points. This candle is almost 36 points. So it was huge back and forth swings. So I was trying to, recognize like what is happening, like which way market is going to break out. So I waited, and then after 7:30, I thought, okay, I have got a crossover over here. That is the bearish crossover. So I should jump in. But the problem was, this bearish crossover, when it gave the confirmation on the downside, look at the level. So the level was 14,076. And guess what? This exact level was a 200-day moving average over here, that is 14,276. So I was of the opinion that, okay, if it has given me the bearish crossover on the intraday time frame and there is a big support on the daily time frame, then I'm not supposed to trust this trade. And that's why I waited again. So sure enough, it bounced exactly from the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame, and look where it stopped. It stopped on the R1 level of the pivot points. So as you can see over here, the moment we reached the R1 level on the pivot points, it actually consolidated for just 10 minutes and then it went downside heavily. So I knew that if it is not able to break the previous day's high and if it is going down, then there is value going on the short side. But the problem was, there is a lot of consolidation zones. So as you can see over here, this entire range only consolidated, right? And then also you can see over here, this entire range, it was only consolidating. So today, for day traders, it was a test of patience. Once you have shorted on the R1 level, then afterwards there was no value in actually opening a position, because over here, when it breached the 200-day moving average level, then on the downside there was no big support. So I just waited and I was mindful of these levels, and then I was waiting for the day to close and see where exactly is the real supply and real demand. So as you can see, the day is almost closed and we have closed below the 200-day moving average. So moving on to the next week, I know that these intraday levels we have consolidated in these ranges. So the only value trade that we had today was shorting at R1. So that was the only valuable, good entry. Afterwards, we could have entered, but then there is no value in trading. So when the risk reward ratio is not very good, I highly recommend that do not trade, because there is no nearby daily level to support your thesis. So this was a learning from my side. Also, if you see the VXN charts, right, VXN with the volatility started at S1 level, and guess what, it exactly ended on the S2 level. So these levels are, being respected. So if volatility is taking support at S2 over here, then look at the timing. It's 8:15, and look at the timing of Nasdaq reversal, 8:20. So we knew that Nasdaq, the VXN is taking support, it's going to go higher. At the same time, the Nasdaq contracts are being, going on a short entry because it is sitting at R1 level. So this was the perfect entry. So even if you get one or two quality intraday trades, that is more than enough to have a really good profits on a daily basis. So this was my learning. And to sum it all, this is the daily time frame. So we have three important things to discuss. One is the Apple event, which is coming scary fast. That's the name of the event. And I don't know how much effect it is going to have on the Apple stock, but we'll see and watch. Secondly, Apple itself is going to report next week. Thirdly, we have a most important Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell meeting in which they are gonna, pause the rates. So at this point, I'm just waiting for the next week to unfold and let the market digest all this news. And I'm highly, convinced that probably this is the bottom. So let's see what happens. Be mindful of these levels. Always take the screenshots and the mark down these levels so that you know what to expect on the upside and what to expect on the downside. So as traders, you can take both trades, long and short. So be opportunistic, be mindful, and again, happy trading and happy investing. I hope you learned a lot, and these are my insights. I will post a detailed video on the weekend about my detailed analysis. So stay tuned, and until next time, peace. Thanks for watching.